Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Bray, and well, reaction time with Bray. Still don't know if I'm gonna change the name or not. Ooh, that's new. Um, we're still figuring stuff out as we go. So today we're gonna be reacting to some scary animations. I don't really know. It should be fun, and maybe I'll get scared. I don't really get scared though, so let's give it a shot. Hey, here we go. Yeah, go subscribe to them. Yeah, this should be fun, right? I'm not gonna watch the whole 50-minute video. I will probably just do a few.
This story happened to me a couple years ago.
Right.
It happened on a Saturday night. I was typing out a school report for my English class and was pretty worn out from the tedious amount of thinking that transpired throughout the paper.
You
I
only got
decided
to
to take a
think?
break and procrastinate a little bit, maybe watch a couple of YouTube videos. I needed to take some stress off my mind, but didn't really have anyone to vent or talk to. This gave me the idea to visit a chat room called Omegle. For those of you who don't know what Omegle is, it's a chat room where you can literally video chat with random strangers online through your computer webcam.
Not a good idea.
Needless to say, Omegle definitely helped with my social skills growing up as a child, so I was always active on it. I remember this one particular night. I was having trouble meeting new people. This left me a little frustrated, to say the least, but that's the kind of thing to expect when you're on these kind of chat sites. That's when I stumbled upon this one guy.
I think I've already
He
seen
looked
this
to be
one,
around the
and
same age group as myself, and
this is not
seemed
gonna be
like
a good
pretty harmless
reaction
individual.
unless it's not this one. So, hey, you guys are just gonna watch me find a new one because I just don't feel like restarting the whole video. So, let's try this one out.
The Pod Thing's running errands should be fun, too.
Ads, hey, don't listen to these ads.
Number
Okay.
13.
Oh, no.
I am not one to have a great memory. Most
No.
things from my childhood I tend to forget.
No. Just no. Let's try this one. Hey.
Just out of college, and despite having a degree,
Alright.
it was almost impossible for me to get a job.
Oh, that sucks.
Day after day, week after week, I sent out my resume to every game developer and computer company in the country, and a few in Europe and Asia. 6 months into this, my money was running very low. This was when I was forced to face the facts. I needed a job immediately, and it didn't matter where and for how much. Just in time, I found a job listing for a video game store at the mall. You know the one I mean. And the terrible stories you hear about them are almost always true. Because of my background in games, I was given an interview immediately and hired soon after. My first shift was the following morning. Other than a few hiccups along the way, it kept my head above water until I got on with Dell 2 years later. The meat of the facts began just before my second year was about to start. Because of the high turnover, I was made an assistant manager by month 9. None of my shifts were
Nice.
evenings, so I was tasked with keeping
Nice. Assistant manager. Okay. Good job, buddy. Hey, put in that hard work, and you can get it. Yeah, I'm sorry with not much reacting. I'm just kind of trying to get into the story, and when the juice starts, I'm going to be reacting like a reactor. Alright, let's go.
keeping the younger employees in line. A job I never really took seriously
keep them
since
in
I was
line.
only a few years older than they were.
Look at that
I
look.
didn't care how they acted as long as they did their job.
Yeah, do your job.
Around this time, a girl was hired that could have been my undoing. The second I saw her, I knew she would be a problem.
Ooh.
However, it wasn't just her that was the source of trouble. Her super jealous boyfriend became a thorn in the side of every guy that worked with her, and sometimes just spoke to her. A shift of hers didn't go by without him showing up to check on her.
I'm sorry about
Some
that.
nights, he would do no more than sit on a bench outside the store and watch her work. But anytime she would get too close to a guy for his liking, he'd approach them and physically intimidate the guy she was talking to.
Oh, so
She never
scary.
said anything when it happened. I actually think she kind of liked it, but it would be what would push her away from him in the end.
Good.
She'd worked at the store for a couple of weeks before someone showed her the hallways that ran along the back of every place. She took advantage of the fact he wasn't aware of them, and this turned out to be a big mistake. If any person reading this doesn't know what I'm talking about, pay attention. You're about to learn
Sorry about that.
I'm not sure how common this is, but some indoor malls, those built in the old way where each store inhabited an area that leased from the mall owner, there are a network of paths or halls that run behind each business. They're used mainly by the employees. The system allows them to enter and leave their jobs without being seen by the customers.
That's
Although
cool.
I'm pretty sure their intended purpose was to give janitorial staff an uncluttered pathway to maintain the spaces. That being said, in all my time at that job, I only saw a member of the cleaning staff a handful of times. Most of those times, they were sneaking a cigarette rather than working. Luckily, we could still smoke inside the building back then. No one
Oh,
said
that's
anything
nice
to
for
the
you.
office if they caught you, probably because they were doing the same thing on their breaks. If we are all on the same page now, I'll get to the real story. Like I said, his jealousy, no matter how it turned her on, was at the same
I
time
think he's
pushing
having a
her away.
seizure.
On her breaks, she'd often sneak out the back and disappear for a while. Where she went, I had no idea or really cared. The boyfriend took forever to catch on, but when he did, he was super angry.
Oh no.
She continued this routine for a few months, and just one day, she never came back to the store. I didn't attach any importance to this. It was during the holidays, and work was a nightmare. It wasn't uncommon for employees to go on break after an especially hectic rush and not return. The turnover was simply that bad. Things got a bit more interesting about 4 or 5 days later. The police showed up and had some questions about her disappearance. I was like, disappearance? What's going on here? They then informed me that she had been reported missing the day after she bailed on work by her parents. She had never made it home, and they thought we may know something. The crazy thing was that when they visited her boyfriend's place to see if she was there,
He was
in
gone.
addition to him not being there, after
I knew
some
it.
digging, they learned that nobody had seen either of them for about a week.
Ooh.
I was quick to make it clear that I didn't know anything. I had just assumed she got sick of the place and bailed. I guess they were happy with that. Never heard from them again. Time passed, and the situation around her almost faded completely from my mind, until something really big in February happened and brought it back into crystal clarity. Some workmen were renovating one of the store's spaces for an incoming client, and once they had completed emptying the space of what the previous renters had left behind, they began the undertaking of finding the source of a terrible smell. Initially, it had been inferred that the smell was emanating from some old food products left behind in the space. But even after the clearing, the stink remained. The next theory was that an animal like a rat had died in the wall. It had happened before. So, before they went to the extreme of busting holes in the walls to find the source of the smell, they went next door to the adjoining space that was also empty and had been for some time. They spent close to an hour sifting through tons of old displays and leftover building materials.
I think I
It
know
turned
what's
out that
gonna
the mall
happen, but
had
I'm not
been
gonna
using this
spoil it.
space for years as storage, and the
If you
place
don't
was a
know,
mess.
you'll find out.
The two guys tasked with doing this
You guys
were
can probably
about to
barely
say
hear me.
forget
Let
it,
me speak up.
when one of them stumbled upon the source of the stink, and it definitely wasn't a rat.
Oh no.
Someone had taken a large piece of plywood and put it over a tiny little closet, thus making it invisible. The guy had caught on that the smell grew worse as he got closer to this board, so he pushed aside the heavy display rack holding the board against the wall,
Oh.
and as soon as he pulled back the board, he found what was causing it.
I knew
The semi-mummified body of what looked like a female was lying on the floor facing the wall.
Ooh.
It appeared the arid and
Yeah.
dry Arizona heat had preserved the corpse and suppressed decomposition. This had to have been why it wasn't stinking up the entire mall and managed to remain hidden for so long. Naturally, the mall was alive with talk of who the body could possibly belong to. Numbers of people had just stopped coming to work one day or skipped out during their lunch. We'd gone through at least 15 people in the last year ourselves. When the answer came, no one could have guessed who it was.
I knew.
Early one morning, I was awakened by my manager with the news that Becky Morrison was the person they found in the empty store. My only answer was, who? He reminded me that she was the girl with the crazy, jealous boyfriend that had disappeared just before Christmas.
I knew it.
Up and went back to sleep. When I returned from my shift that night, it was the only thing anyone could talk about. The next question asked was, who did it?
We already know.
The overall favorite was the crazy boyfriend. Everyone knew by now
No.
that he had disappeared just after her, and considering his body wasn't found alongside hers, it was a fair assumption. He was most definitely nuts. It made sense. The story took a whole new angle just a couple of weeks after she was identified.
Alright. So,
An article was-
let me just stop here and kind of react to this, because I've been kind of just sitting here and just go, oh, and it seems kind of repetitive. So, basically, from the moment that it said they went missing, I kind of figured the girl was dead. And I don't know if it was him that killed her, or if he's gonna find a way to frame this dude, or whatever his name is. I don't remember any of the names, but you guys know who I'm talking about. The crazy ex-boyfriend might try to frame the main character or something. Also, I feel bad for this dude. He went and got a full education and couldn't find a job. Then had to start working at a small local video game store. Games Block. Yeah, Game Block. Yeah, I feel bad for him. Yeah. So, keep working, get that education, get a real job, get out of that game block. Alright, let's continue the
Published
video.
in the paper discussing a possible new motive behind this. The police had recently received information that Becky had been messing around with a fellow mall employee during her breaks. They were meeting in the unoccupied store her body had been discovered in and fooling around. After following some leads, they were able to identify the employee. He was a 22-year-old guy working in a Hallmark store. but no name was
Why
given.
does he not ever have a
He
shirt
told
on?
the officers that he and Becky were supposed to hook up the day she disappeared,
Oh,
but he got holed up by the time he'd reached the empty space and she was gone. He figured she couldn't wait and returned to work. It was only a few days later, when the cops showed up at the mall to ask questions, that he heard she was missing.
maybe this isn't the
His
best.
mind
I
was
can
straight to the
edit
worst,
that.
and he was afraid he'd be blamed for it, so he said nothing. Then, when the news reached him that the boyfriend was also missing, it was too late. He figured if the boyfriend was hiding out, waiting for his chance to get him, it was best for him to say nothing, just on the off chance he didn't know for sure who the guy was. It all boiled down to him being afraid, and with what I knew, I could understand. What nobody knew, and still probably doesn't, is that her and I had a thing for a short while, too.
Oh.
It wasn't long, but once is all it takes. I was the person who told her about the back hallways, after all.
Yeah, we
We
probably...
slipped out there a few times, treat her well, and commit to her for the long term without being psychotic about it. She was genuinely a good person, and certainly didn't deserve the end she had, but then again, I can't think of very many that do.
Yeah, this video is just gonna... No?
I'm not sure if this is the creepiest.
Okay, well, that's just a good 36 minutes of my life wasted. Oh, wait, no, 13 minutes, okay. Actually, you know what? Forget it. We posting this. Thank you guys for watching. You know, I try to keep it family friendly, but I just hop into stuff, so I'm posting this. It's your own fault. That's all I have to say. That's why I was kind of skipping the story, but we all know how it ended. We all know what happened, so peace. I'll be back. Subscribe, like, and share. Let's go!